The Pittsburgh Steelers are entering a critical phase as the offseason moves ahead, especially following that blockbuster trade with the Miami Dolphins. That has fans buzzing across the nation. One of the most talked about issues right now revolves around the safety position, which suddenly became a big question mark after losing a key player like Minkah Fitzpatrick. The Steelers didn't get a safety back in that trade, leaving a significant hole in the starting free safety spot. And that's forcing the team to explore different paths to fill this important gap. And their defense, with training camp looming at the end of the month and the 2025 season just around the corner, the Steelers are weighing their options carefully. The safety role is arguably the hottest topic among fans and analysts alike because it's not just about plugging a hole. It's about finding someone who fits the Steelers' defensive identity and can help elevate the entire secondary. There are still several notable free agent safeties out there who were solid starters for their teams last season, and Pittsburgh could look to bring in one of these experienced players. Some of these names have already sparked discussions on social media and among Steelers supporters who want clarity on how the defense will shape up. One name that keeps coming up in conversations is Juan Thornhill. The Steelers actually signed him earlier in free agency, and many believe he could be the starting free safety heading into the new season. Thornhill brings youth and speed, and he seems to fit the scheme that Mike Tomlin and the coaching staff want to run. It's interesting because the team had multiple safety options available, but they chose Thornhill over others, which could indicate a strong vote of confidence in his ability to fill that void left by Fitzpatrick. That said, some fans remain curious about who else might be available. For example, Justin Simmons is a name that Steelers fans have been buzzing about, especially on Twitter. Simmons is a veteran player who has been known for his football intelligence and ability to anticipate plays rather than rely solely on raw athleticism. Even though he is now over 30 years old and showed signs of decline in his last seasons with Denver and Atlanta, his knack for reading quarterbacks and making interceptions has made him a highly respected player in the league. The potential downside, however, is that Simmons isn't the most reliable tackler anymore, and his athletic decline could be a concern for a team that values physicality and consistency. Comparing Simmons to Thornhill, the latter offers a younger, quicker, and better tackling presence. Thornhill's youth and athleticism give him an edge when it comes to fitting into the Steelers' defensive schemes, especially in coverage and run support. Meanwhile, Simmons' strengths lie in his experience and football IQ, which could still be very valuable, especially if the Steelers are looking for someone to step in and immediately impact turnovers and coverage adjustments. It's a tough balance between youth and experience, and it'll be interesting to see which direction the Steelers lean toward. Another safety who deserves mention is Quandre Diggs, who spent last year with the Tennessee Titans. Diggs has a solid reputation as a reliable starter and a steady presence in the secondary. However, he suffered a Lisfranc fracture in his foot, which raises questions about his health and how quickly he might return to form. Still, his experience and ability to contribute both in coverage and tackling make him a potential candidate for Pittsburgh to consider if they want to add depth and veteran savvy to the safety group. Marcus Williams is also a player the Steelers might look at, especially given his history as a longtime starter with the New Orleans Saints and his recent stint with the Baltimore Ravens. While he had a strong start with Baltimore, making interceptions and big plays, his performance seemed to drop off as the season went on, with the Ravens eventually replacing him in their defense. That decline in effectiveness might make him a bit of a gamble, but his experience and skill set can't be ignored outright, especially for a team in transition. Jordan Whitehead, another versatile safety, played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last season and had time with the New York Jets before that. Whitehead is lighter than some safeties, more of a free safety type, but he also has experience playing in the nickel slot, making him a flexible option if the Steelers want to shuffle their defensive backfield and mix up personnel packages. Whitehead could offer some intriguing possibilities, especially given his tackling ability and versatility. Julian Blackmon is a name that often pops up among fans hoping for an addition in the secondary. Blackmon, formerly with the Indianapolis Colts, shares a very similar profile to Juan Thornhill. They are close in age, size, speed, and style of play, which might explain why the Steelers chose Thornhill over Blackmon earlier in free agency. While Blackmon remains an option, the similarities mean the team likely sees Thornhill as the preferred fit, which could reduce Blackmon's chances of signing with Pittsburgh. Jordan Poyer who spent last season with the Miami Dolphins and was formerly with the Buffalo Bills, is another interesting free agent safety. Poyer has a personal connection to the Steelers' new quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, through shared retreats and a close bond that Rodgers often talks about. That connection might give Poyer an edge if the Steelers want to bring in someone who fits well with the quarterback both on and off the field. Poyer's recent starter experience makes him a viable option, especially if the team wants to add leadership and chemistry to the defensive backfield. On the other side of the defensive backfield, the Steelers might look to adjust if Jalen Ramsey makes a full-time switch to safety, even though that's not the expected outcome. If Ramsey moves to safety permanently, the Steelers would need to find a slot corner to fill his role in nickel packages, which are used over 80% of the time. To slot cornerbacks still available in free agency have caught attention. Mike Hilton and Asante Samuel Jr. Steelers fans have wanted Asante Samuel Jr. since free agency opened, but there doesn't seem to be much movement or interest from Pittsburgh in signing him this off-season. Several other teams, like the Miami Dolphins and the New Orleans Saints, are competing for his services, making it a tough market. Asante's athleticism and playmaking ability would fit well, but the Steelers haven't shown the urgency to bring him in. Mike Hilton, who played for the Steelers from 2017 through 2020, is known for his blitzing skills from the slot corner position. Although he was somewhat inconsistent in coverage, his ability to rush the passer made him a unique weapon for the defense. Hilton has continued to play well since leaving Pittsburgh, earning solid grades with the Cincinnati Bengals last year. If the Steelers wanted to reunite with Hilton, especially if Ramsey moves to safety, it could be a strategic way to maintain pressure and versatility in the secondary. Turning to the offense, the wide receiver position is another area where fans are hoping for some movement. Many Steelers supporters want the team to add another receiver before training camp, but the reality might be different. It appears the Steelers are comfortable featuring Jahan Dotson alongside DK Metcalf, Pat Freiermuth, and Calvin Austin. 3. Dotson, in particular, is seen as a reliable slot receiver and a solid number to option in the offense's personnel packages, especially in 13 personnel sets. A big-name wide receiver trade or signing seems unlikely before camp, and if the Steelers add anyone, it will probably come through free agency. Among the possible free agent wide receivers linked to Pittsburgh, Gabe Davis stands out as the most likely candidate. Reports have connected Davis to the Steelers multiple times since the trade involving Jalen Ramsey. Gabe's knee injury from last season raises questions, but if he proves healthy, he could be an excellent fit, especially with his ability as a deep threat and a strong run blocker, which aligns with the Steelers' physical offensive philosophy. Other potential wide receivers, like Amari Cooper and Keenan Allen, have also been mentioned, but the Steelers haven't shown much interest in pursuing either of them aggressively. Cooper's reputation as a receiver who struggles with run blocking might not appeal to the offensive coordinator, and Allen reportedly isn't enthusiastic about playing in Pittsburgh. That combination likely lowers the chances of either joining the team this offseason. Tyler Boyd, a Pittsburgh native and former Panther, has expressed his desire to play for the Steelers, and his relationship with Mike Tomlin adds intrigue. Despite his willingness, the Steelers have not pursued him seriously, suggesting that, for now, Boyd won't be part of the roster. If the Steelers were truly interested, they would have made moves last year or during this offseason. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers are beginning to stir around Pittsburgh, and it all started with a cryptic yet pointed statement from Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin. In a recent interaction with reporters, Tomlin raised eyebrows when he suggested that there's a player contaminating the locker room, though he stopped short of naming names or elaborating. The remark has ignited speculation among fans and insiders alike. Is there a disruptive presence shaking the Steelers' usually disciplined culture, while the team has always prided itself on strong internal leadership and accountability? Tomlin's words hint at something deeper. Perhaps a player whose attitude, behavior, or influence is beginning to affect team morale. With training camp underway and a competitive AFC North to prepare for, timing couldn't be worse. The Steelers are in a transitional phase, with a blend of veteran anchors and rising young talents hoping to solidify their roles. Any internal discord could derail that progress around the league. Rival scouts and insiders are beginning to talk Is this a frustrated veteran unhappy with his role? A young prospect unwilling to buy into the standard that Tomlin so often preaches? Or perhaps it's simply a personality clash behind closed doors that's reached a boiling point. Tomlin has built a reputation for managing personalities and keeping drama in-house. So the decision to go public, even vaguely, suggests he might be sending a message. Whether it's a warning shot or a calculated motivational tactic remains to be seen. But one thing is clear, the Steelers' locker room isn't as unified as it seems on the surface. And if the contamination spreads, it could impact more than just chemistry. It could define their season. Stay tuned. Something's brewing in Pittsburgh. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.